Welcome, dear friends, to tonight's bedtime story. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the stars above guide you into dreams. Each story is filled with magic, kindness, and wonder. Now, snuggle in and let's begin. Tonight's story, Tom Thumb, is about a boy no bigger than his father's thumb, born from a fairy's blessing. When a greedy giant threatens him, Tom must use his cleverness to find his way home. Let's see how even the smallest hero can have the biggest courage. Once upon a time, there lived a kind couple named Mr. Thumb and Mrs. Thumb. They loved each other dearly, but they had no children. Each night, they wished for a baby, even if he were no bigger than a thumb. Their hearts longed for someone to love and care for. One evening, a gentle fairy appeared in their cottage. She smiled and said, "Your wish is kind and pure, so I will grant it." With a wave of her wand, a tiny baby appeared, no bigger than a thumb. The fairy blessed him with courage and cleverness, and the couple named him Tom Thumb. Tom grew quickly, but stayed very small. He was no taller than his father's thumb. He rode on a mouse, drank from a thimble, and slept in a walnut shell. Mr. and Mrs. Thumb loved him dearly and cared for him with all their hearts. Though tiny, Tom was clever and helpful. When Mr. Thumb went to the market, Tom would sit in his father's pocket and guide the horse by whispering directions. People in the village laughed in wonder when they saw a voice coming from a pocket. "What a clever little boy," they said. One day, while riding in his father's pocket, Tom slipped and fell onto the road. Before Mr. Thumb could rescue him, a passing stranger scooped Tom up. "What a marvelous little fellow," the man said. "He will make me rich at the fair." He carried Tom away, and poor Mr. and Mrs. Thumb cried out in fear. A stranger sold Tom to a cruel giant who lived in a dark cave. The giant laughed loudly and said, "Such a tiny morsel would make a tasty meal." Tom trembled, but used his cleverness. He bowed politely and said, "Oh, great giant, I am far too small to fill your belly, but I can help you find more food." The giant, greedy and foolish, agreed. Tom pretended to lead him to food, but instead guided him into the thick forest. "Just a little further," Tom called from a branch above. The giant stumbled and grumbled until at last he tripped over a root and fell sound asleep. Tom seized his chance to escape. As Tom ran, a kind swallow swooped down and offered him a ride. "Climb onto my back, little one," said the bird. Tom held on tight as the swallow carried him high above the trees. Soon they reached the little cottage where Mr. and Mrs. Thumb were waiting with worried hearts. When his parents saw him, they ran out with tears of joy. "Our dear Tom has come home," Mrs. Thumb cried, holding him gently in her hands. Mr. Thumb kissed his son's head and said, "You may be small, but you are the bravest boy in the world." From that day on, Tom Thumb stayed close to his parents. He told them stories of his adventures with the fairy, the giant, and the swallow. Though he was tiny, he had a big heart and a clever mind. Mr. and Mrs. Thumb knew their wish had brought them the greatest treasure of all, And so, Tom Thumb showed that even the smallest among us can hold the greatest courage. With that, our story comes to an end. May your dreams be filled with kindness and wonder. Good night, little dreamers. Until next time, sweet dreams under the stars.